According to a few polls you can read online, Thanksgiving's the most popular and liked holiday. If so, why aren't there more movies about this sacred holiday? We know Halloween and Christmas litter the market with classics based around those singular days, but Thanksgiving itself seems to get the shaft. Sure, families get together to eat, drink, watch football, and yell at the drunken uncle who brought up politics.
Did you hear that?
But it really isn't well known for all the holiday classic movies about this festive day. When Christmas time rolls around, I have a movie a night I like to watch in preparation for the season. October's generally filled with horror classics I like to watch to get me in the spirit. Still, when the illustrious Turkey Day approaches, there is one movie, and only one movie that's mandatory viewing: Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Now let's discuss why this particular classic from the 80s is really the only movie for this holiday, and why I believe the film industry really missed the mark when it came to saturating the market with classics and setting up our favorite holiday.
Those aren't pillows.
It might sound a bit ignorant to say there aren't many great Thanksgiving films, but outside of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, I want you to try to think of any. Try hard, really hard. Okay, how about just one Thanksgiving classic? See, it's not that easy. Sure, there are some classic episodes of our favorite TV shows like The Office, Friends, Bob's Burgers, New Girl, and Seinfeld, to name a few, so those are always options. Thanksgiving is a popular time to hit the theaters, so it really shocks me that Hollywood never really found the secret sauce for capitalizing on this little holiday. Now for me, this holiday wouldn't pack the same punch if I didn't watch the 1987 comedy classic Planes, Trains, and Automobiles the day before Thanksgiving. I have long wondered why it is that a movie that's over 35 years old has endured as the movie to watch on this particular day. It was the prime of John Candy and Steve Martin's career when this came out, but that was almost 4 decades ago. There's really something to say about the quality, message, and general feeling about this film. If you've never seen Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, I hope this video finds you and convinces you that you are doing yourself a great disservice. So before we dive into discussing this movie, I would be so thankful. See what I did there? If you could give this video a like, share it with your most distant and polarizing family member, hit the notification bell, and my Thanksgiving wish is that you subscribe for more raw and emotionally intelligent content, just like this. So, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a 1987 comedy written, produced, and directed by John Hughes. The film stars Steve Martin as Neil Page, a high-strung advertising executive, and John Candy as Del Griffith, a good-hearted but annoying shower curtain ring salesman.
I sell shower curtain rings. Best in the world.
Neil and Del are both trying to get home to Chicago for Thanksgiving. After a long day of work in New York City, Neil heads to the airport for a flight back to Chicago. However, he struggles to find a cab due to the Thanksgiving rush. There's this classic scene where he's out-hustled for a cab by a young Kevin Bacon. When he finally does find one, it's soon stolen by another man who eventually turns out to be Del Griffith. These two are conveniently seated next to one another on their flight, which is soon rerouted to Wichita, Kansas due to a snowstorm, and they end up sharing a motel room for the night. Forced to share the last room in bed, Neil eventually loses his temper and tells Del that his jokes stink, his stories aren't interesting, and that he would rather sit through an insurance seminar than listen to any more of Del's pointless anecdotes. Here is where we get to see and empathize with the kind of man Del is. As Neil berates him, Del's face falls, showing that he's hurt and saddened by the harsh words, as they're likely not the first time he's heard them. This scene is both moving and heartbreaking, but we get a glimpse under the curtain at Del's vulnerability and genuine desire to help Neil despite the constant setbacks and misunderstandings.
I could be a cold-hearted cynic like you, but I don't like to hurt people's feelings. Well, you think what you want about me. I'm not changing. I like me. My wife likes me.
As the movie progresses, we look back at the scene as a turning point in their relationship, as it marks the beginning of Neil's gradual transformation from annoyance to understanding and empathy towards Del. The next day, they discover that their money's been stolen, likely by someone who broke into their room. Del suggests they use charge cards to get home and proposes taking a train to Chicago. However, they learn that Wichita doesn't have passenger trains, so after hitching a ride to Stubbville, they manage to get on a train, but the main engine breaks down in Missouri, forcing them to find other modes of transportation. Del and Neil then take a bus, which gets them as far as St. Louis. Neil, still uncomfortable with Del, suggests they part ways. Neil heads to the St. Louis airport to rent a car, only to find that the car he rented is not there. In his frustration, he discards the rental agreement, which only complicates matters when confronting the lady at the rental car desk. Neil loses his temper in a culmination of Neil's mounting frustrations and setbacks throughout this whole ordeal. Now, this is one of the most notorious, hilarious, and relatable scenes in the film, and probably the only reason the movie earned its R rating. Anybody who's traveled more than likely has a horror story to tell, so even though Neil's being an ass here, I can't say it's not relatable. Because of this scene alone, many travel companies were reluctant to associate with the film for fear of negative publicity. After his tirade, Neil leaves the airport and runs into Dell again, who has managed to obtain a rental car. Here marks a turning point in the journey for these two characters. It showcases its contribution to the escalating series of unfortunate events that Neil and Dell have faced together. Soon, Dell accidentally sets the car on fire after he gets his parka stuck in the car's automatic seat controls, which causes him to lose control of the vehicle. Dell accidentally gets his cigarette caught in the back seat in the ensuing mayhem, which later ignites the car. After Dell and Neil check into another motel for the night, we get a glimpse into the transformation that Neil's made, while we also get more development about Dell and why he is the way he is.
I meet someone whose company I really enjoy. What do? I go overboard. I smother the poor soul. I cause him more trouble than he has a right to.
John Candy was reportedly very depressed during the filming, despite being a larger-than-life character in real life, and by all accounts a really nice guy. When I learned this knowledge, it kind of gives the film a more poignant undertone, adding much more depth. In other words, this is more than just a comedy. Now, I won't spoil the rest of the movie for you poor saps who've yet to experience its wonderment, but let's just say that if the film's ending doesn't move you, you were dead inside and most likely a lizard person. I watch this film every year, and I'm always shocked by how much the ending moves me. So many elements make this the one true Thanksgiving movie, but its core is one of the biggest sellers in my opinion. Family values are at the film's core, as Neil's ultimate goal is to return home to his wife and children for Thanksgiving dinner. Friendship is also a blatantly clear theme, as Neil and Dell start their relationship hostile, but eventually form a friendship as they face various challenges together. It showcases the importance of companionship and understanding, even in the most unlikely and difficult circumstances. When I hear the phrase "they don't make them like they used to," this movie immediately comes to mind. Even though it is hilarious, it has a ton of heart and will likely leave you with a warm, fuzzy feeling after the John Hughes signature freeze frame graces your screen at the end of the movie. The film's enduring popularity can be attributed to its relatable situations and human characters. Despite some of these situations in this film being outdated in this post-smartphone world, their core truth remains the same. People on public transportation can be obnoxious asses. At the time, John Hughes was known for his teenage comedies, but in this film he got to showcase his versatility as a director by balancing humor and pathos and creating a funny and poignant film. Steve Martin and John Candy are both terrific in these roles, but John Candy really steals the show with his classic humor. There's a burden of sadness he carries throughout and tries to hide it underneath his goofy, clumsy exterior. What's interesting about the film is that it was inspired by a real-life experience of John Hughes, who was more than known for translating his life experiences onto the screen. The film was initially written in just 6 hours, and the first cut was allegedly 3 hours and 45 minutes long. Sadly, John Hughes is no longer with us, but let's see if we can get this trending. Hashtag the Hughes cut. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is the ultimate Thanksgiving movie due to its perfect blend of humor, family values, friendship, and holiday spirit. The film's timeless appeal and memorable moments continue to resonate with audiences, making it a beloved classic for the popular holiday. If you've never seen this, I recommend you get with your significant other, a family member, a friend, and create a Thanksgiving tradition by watching this movie. Even though the film is rated R, I'd consider it a soft R, so those young teens are okay watching. Hell, they have TikTok. This is Disney Junior in comparison. If you have seen it, and many times, I hope this movie has impacted you as much as it has me and continues as a tradition in perpetuity. So Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, what do you think of this movie? Are there other Thanksgiving movies that you love and are part of your tradition? Let's light up that comment section. I'm genuinely curious. If you liked what you watched, do me a favor and like, share, and subscribe. You'll be helping the world heal. If you didn't but watched this far to tell me that, then hey, thanks for watching. As always, the opinions in this video are mine and mine alone. But what do I know? I'm but a mere jackass. I'll try to do better next time. Catch you later, friends. Oh, and happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, big gulps, huh? All right. Well, see you later.